What is going on? I'm Zedmont. Today we are going to be talking exclusively about critters, specifically about the critter cannons. Now these things are a ridiculously good time. Because we can get 16 in our landing crafts, it means every 10 seconds or so you're getting 128 critters blasted. So what I've been doing is just going like this. We're going to bring all of our critters into here. Those are actually not critters. And then as soon as they start firing, we're going to throw a smoke onto that headquarters. Just let the critters accumulate. Now, like I said, they shoot they reload, the reload time's about 7.5 seconds. And then on top of that, there's like a 3-second time where they're shooting. So it ends up being about 10 seconds between the time when the first critter starts to come out and the time the critters start to come out the next time. So we've been sitting here for about 40 seconds, 30 seconds, somewhere in that neighborhood, which means that we've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 critters on there. I actually boosted my GBE on my previous day of attacks and managed to get just thousands and thousands and thousands of critters on those HQs. Now, one thing I haven't been able to do yet is have enough gunboat energy to actually flash kill the HQ. When the HQ's at the back, that's a little bit different simply because you've cleared a bunch of buildings which have done damage, but watch this. We are going to blast this. Now, we've got in the neighborhood of 1,000 critters on there and it still takes them 3 shots to get it down. So pretty ridiculous. I do recommend once you get your troops back towards the headquarters on an actual map clear, not a beached headquarters, that you just smoke that HQ, let those critters accumulate because it is a ridiculous sight. And if you're wondering why I'm using Everspark, realistically, Kavan is better, or even Bullet is better, but I just wanted to have maximum critters. So that's what we're going to be doing here. Now, it doesn't matter if you're low level, if you're a high level, these things are amazing. Please do give them a shot because you will not lose a troop. Doesn't matter if the person has a grappler, doesn't matter what the heck they have, as long as you're careful about boom mines at the front. Just watch that grappler at the back. It's going to be so inundated, overloaded, I don't know what the proper word is here, by all of these critters that we're not going to have any problem just cruising up and clearing all of this stuff. Shock blasters, shock launchers, look how we've got hundreds of critters in there. There is no chance that anything is going to have a chance to shoot our troops. Now, you can use these things with grenadiers, with bombardiers, with basically any troop out there, and clear your map with 0 difficulty. Like I said, just be on the lookout for things getting your troop from the edges, also from boom mines, because these things are so good. Now, I am going to throw a shock out here just because I really don't know a grappler reaching over 400 critters to grab a critter. You know what? We're not going to shock. We'll just walk through all this stuff and we'll just let that grappler do its thing. It should be grabbing critters. I'd be very surprised if it managed to grab a critter cannon. But these things are so OP. It is ridiculous. And no, Supercell, don't go nerf them because we only get them a couple days a year and they are incredibly slow and incredibly boring to use. Once you get over just it's crazy. Once you get over the insanity of thousands and thousands of critters, they just take way too long to clear your map. So they are not a troop of choice for me, but they do work and they are impossible to stop. So don't think just because you're a low level and you only have 6 landing crafts and you can't get 2 per boat in there that you can't use them. Do use them. I highly recommend using them. Just be aware that you probably want to bring some other troops in behind for some damage. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting here for a long time. But for those people who don't have instant training, this is a perfect troop to use because you are never going to lose a troop, basically ever. Now, we're going to keep some smoke on that headquarters because I don't want my critter cannons damaging them. I want to get all of my things. Now, you'll see all of the critters are going to come back to that middle smoke, and we've got lots and lots of GBE left over, thankfully, so we can keep smoking all the way to the end of this attack, and they should just accumulate like crazy. I missed that smoke. Oh, that was so... Anyways, I'm just going to let this die. I could keep smoking this forever and ever, but do be aware, if you retreat, watch here, your critters aren't going to do anything, so you need to be a little bit careful if you're trying to be a troll. Obviously, you can just use your GBE, though. As our critter cannons get back only 2 on the landing crafts. Proper trolling requires that you get all 16 back on the landing crafts. So anyone with defensive stuff, probably not going to be super duper useful. I wanted to show you a quick operation attack by Mr. George here. Now, problem with Fang is we need to use Grenadiers to get rid of these shield generators. But the grappler there is a problem. So what we're going to do here is George, not me, not we, sends Everspark in for the standard issue hacks to get rid of some rocket launchers. Let's just see if he double hacks. Beautiful double hack. Well done, George. And then look at this. Brings in the critter cannons. So smart. And by doing that, he's going to distract the grappler and slowly but surely eventually bring in his grenadiers. See, bringing the grenadiers in, and they are just going to get all of those shield gens. Well, that grappler is so confused and busy. So well done. We had a lot of thoughts about what the heck we were going to do with that grappler, simply because with Grenadiers, you can't get those shield gens, and George came up with the big brain approach of using critter cannons. So very well done. Managed to take a somewhat, I wouldn't say a difficult Fang, but an awkward Fang down in 2 as a result of that. So otherwise, we would have had to sneak some zookas in there maybe, or some bombardiers, and get that grappler. But by using the critter cannons on the operation, he managed to take it down. So they are not great for high-level operations, but there are definitely some uses. Now, I remember when I said just be aware of boom mines. We need to go like this as well. Get some critters out there. It takes a second or two for your critter cannons to start firing, so throw some critters, maybe throw a shock, and then Bob is your uncle. We are now just pummeling them with critters upon critters upon critters. Now, do let me know if you drop them. I drop them all at once and they all end up firing at the same time. You might want to possibly consider delaying, like drop 4 and then drop 4 more like 3 seconds later, so they fire at different intervals or something like that. But really, it's not all that required. Now, if you are a low level, you want to bring in the biggest range troop you can. If you have Grenadiers, bring some Grenadiers behind them, because they're just going to stand behind. Now, they are going to kill some critters, but really, it's not going to be a big deal. You can also use these with Rifle and Zooka and Medics, because they're going to clear all of the mines. They're going to keep all of the single shot stuff handy. So experiment a little bit, see which troop you like to use, and obviously tanks work well as well, because look at this, like there's going to be nothing that goes anywhere near those critter cannons simply because we're pumping out 128 or basically 10 a second. So 128 every 10 seconds or so, about 10 a second. Just so many critters. Absolutely unstoppable. Lots and lots of fun. You know what? I'm very curious to see. Let's do a bit of an experiment here. We know that Scorchers are not going to die no matter what. I'm very curious to see if we use Heavies as our damage, which is a terrible idea, by the way, if we actually lose any Heavies. Because the only way that we could get even closer than that, we'll do Heavies first, then we'll do Warriors, because I just want to see if the critter cannons are going to be effective protecting against basically the shortest possible ranged troop. So we're going to go like this. We're then going to bring out some Heavies. We'll throw some more of the critters. Now, throwing critters to clear mines, typically not the best idea, but with critter cannons coming out, what the heck, we might as well. Now is going to be the real test. If we lose 0 Heavies, it just means that they are fully protecting our troops. I'm curious to see if we're even going to take any damage on those Heavies, besides ranged rocket launcher fire and stuff like that. So critter cannons, we have lost a total of 0 Heavies. Look like 0 of them have taken any damage, so it really doesn't matter what you're going to use for your damage. The critter cannons are going to be your tank. Now, tank damage, DPS, obviously we don't have any casters. Mixing in a couple different game logos, lingos, that's the word, lingos, not logos. No game logos here. So, we lost 2. We managed to lose 2 Heavies, so it is possible to lose some troops when you're using critter cannons. Don't use Heavies for your damage. They have too short a range, and they don't do enough damage. So bring some Zookas behind your critter cannons. I guess they'd be in front of your critter cannons. Maybe, possibly, bring some Medics as well, because otherwise your Zookas are going to get possibly hit by some range defenses. Right about now, you see how, like, as soon as your critters get up close and personal on that rocket launcher, they're going to start shooting over top eventually, but our critter cannons have 0 scratches. We have lost a total of 0 critter cannons. We've lost 3 heavies so far. So, like I said, heavies were an experiment. I'm going to bring in warriors as my tanks next time, which are going to be faster and more and closer to buildings. Now, barraging buildings, not super smart, as you see. We just killed 487 critters. But do let me know what troops you're using these with, how much fun you're having, and if you're using them, because if you don't have instant training, they are an absolute godsend, because you will never lose a troop, but it all depends. And the other thing, you can always force close your game. Just force close the game once you drop your troops, and you should be absolutely golden. Let's have a look at Awen -S. Now they've got a laser and a doom cannon and a damage amplifier and some ice statues and a boosted green statue. And this is going to be a great test just to see how we are going to be able to do with these puppies. Now let's throw a shock right there. Uh-oh, already lost one. See, that is the danger in throwing them on the left-hand side. Drop them right on top of that boom cannon and got wrecked a little bit as a result. So now we're just going to see how long these warriors can last. I will be amazed if they last a terribly long time, because they're going to end up getting ahead of the critters. But I figured, you know what, let's try the worst of the worst, the closest of the close, and it doesn't look like our warriors are going to last a terribly long time. So don't use warriors, because they will get ahead. Scorchers are likely going to do the same thing, so not really all that useful to use Scorchers unless you want to do something ridiculous. And just look how long this is going to take. Like, this is going to take us forever and a day to burn through all this stuff. So let's come back with a real troop combo and just show you how we can burn through this quickly and easily, because we have the best of the best, and that is going to be Bombardiers. My personal opinion, Bombardiers are going to be the best because they're not going to be killing the critters like Grenadiers would. And I'm just clicking random buttons. When I click that, when I try and add troops, sometimes that change button isn't there when I thought it was going to be there. I end up adding warriors by default. So we've now filled up our boats. Let's go get Awen. We actually gave them a defend, which I'm not a big fan of giving people with terrible statues a defend, but whatever. It is what it is. Let's throw a shock right about there, and we're going to bring all of our troops over here. That laser is going to be a problem if we let it be, but hopefully, yeah, it's locked on. Nope, it didn't. I don't think we're going to find out in a sec, but probably should also be using Kavan, because our Bombardiers are going to need some healing, very likely. We should have enough GBE to just keep pumping medkits out once that front laser is gone, though. So Bombardiers with Kavan and critter cannons would be the ideal here, just absolutely crushing them. Like, that doom cannon is going to get 0 hits on our troops. That laser might get a couple by accident, but overall critter cannons just absolutely crushing these bases and just making it so easy. I mean, and it's visually interesting, I find, with just critters flying everywhere. Obviously, when we get into having, what are those things called? Lasertrons, there's going to be like double pews with 2 per boat, which is always better, because pew is way better than just pew. But the critter cannons firing 128 critters every 10 seconds. So good. And by the way, that math could be wrong as well. Do let me know if I've failed. I like to throw random critters here, there, and everywhere, because we have nothing else to do with our gunboat energy. Like, we're not needing to throw smokes or shocks or anything, so I just throw critters here and there and back and help add to the critter pile. Also throwing some artilleries out there to get rid of random buildings slightly quicker, which is going to help our critters accumulate. But otherwise, that is going to be my video for the day. Bit of a break from the warships, which I find is useful because it helps boost my intel numbers. Won't be showing an operation attack today because I've already done them all, but picking up some easy intel there. And also helping the task force in the meantime. Now, speaking of helping, actually, you know what? This is the one NPC you should attack. And the reason for that is Power Stone chance is calculated by number of buildings. And this has a ton of buildings. So if you're going to attack one NPC, attack the NPC that has the most buildings, because there are certain mathematical advantages to doing so. This is the one NPC you should very, very likely attack, and we are going to do so because there are just so many boom mines and mines for our critters to clear. So we're going to end off on an NPC attack. I always destroy NPCs, except for when it's this one, and even then I still destroy this one. We're going to find out if we get more than our allotted 3 fragments. Now, there's also the chance of crystal streaks. I don't know why crystal streaks happen, but they are not an urban legend. They do happen. They are not explained by math, I don't think. So maybe it's a bug, maybe it's a feature, don't really know. But do go attack this NPC. Mathematically and for value of your time, probably not worth attacking other ones. But let's just see what we get out of this NPC. 1 fragment. See, oh, we actually got 2. Okay, so not bad. Anyways, that is all for me. Hopefully this answered some questions, entertained, educated, all that sort of good stuff. I'm going to keep clearing my NPCs, picking up the diamonds off my map, and then hopefully sending my submarine on a dive. I shall talk to you soon. Do consider joining our Discord, joining our task force group. Also, if you scroll over to the right-hand side of the shop, you can throw Zmot in your creator boost to get 400% stronger attacks in your task force. I shall talk to you soon. Thanks for coming in. I'm Zmot. Peace!